Hey, everybody. Welcome to New Way Health Podcast, where we explore enriching topics for your total well being. Today, we're going to actually dive into what are the benefits of health coaching? Why should I hire a health coach, right? And also, how to find the right health coach for you, because one size does not fit all, right? I want to give you some guidance about how to find the right person. So, with me, of course, I have Coach Emily Abshire. Yay! We
Hello,
love
everyone.
talking about topics that our clients have asked us. Like, this is one that we get this question a lot. And I'll be honest, I'll kick this off for a second here, but I'm going to be super vulnerable and honest. But years ago, when I met my first life coach, and I put it in quotes because that's how I felt about the coaching industry. I was like, Coach, what is that? I don't understand. All I knew was athletic coaches growing up. And so when they said they were a life coach, I'm like, well, what do you do? I was so confused. It was a really foreign industry to me. So I really obviously here I am, now fast forward, not only embracing it, but I've had many coaches myself over the years. But that really is still, I think, something that people stumble upon. They're like, well, what do you do as a coach? So I'm curious, Emily, like, have you always heard of coaches, or tell me a little bit about that?
No, yeah, the health coaching was new to me too a few years ago. Um, yeah, I just didn't, what do we really do, right? When I even first started thinking about becoming somebody that helped move somebody else to a place with their health and wellness to help them reach those goals, that's when I decided, oh my gosh, there is such a thing as a health coach, right? It's about getting from one place to another place, but how? I can't do it by myself. I've tried and I keep failing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I need that
exactly.
support.
And I've had the experience, then I went on to, then I was like, oh, this sounds pretty interesting, right? So I started hiring, I've hired multiple health coaches and business coaches in my life, and huge benefit. I love the collaborative approach. For me, one of the things from my own personal experience is that I was doing things with them. I wasn't being told what to do. Because I'll be honest, and I know, I'm not putting down nutritionists, but I had an experience with a nutritionist many years ago. And my that experience for me was just like, here you go, here, just go ahead and do this. And I was like, well, I already knew most of the stuff on that list you just gave me. I thought you were going to help me. And bad on me, I didn't understand. I didn't understand, well, that was actually in the coaching bucket. That's the coaching industry. That's who's going to help me move forward. So that's what I was looking for as a partner with my health, from a personal perspective. So tell us, let's kick this part off of like, what are some of the benefits that you see in coaching for health?
What you immediately sparked my thought was customizable. It is an individualized that coach, that health and wellness coach will co-create a plan that is customizable to that one individual. So it's not a generic, it's not, that most Americans need is, no, this is my path, this is what I think I need. Can you help me? And this is my challenges, these are my goals. So I love, and I think it's important that an individual feels like it's specifically for them because they're special.
Oh, I love that you brought that up first, actually, because there are in a day that we're in now, especially on Instagram, on that particular platform, there's so many courses on health and programs on health. And if that's what you want, then that's great. But there's also a lot of people that want a personalized, customized approach. They want to work it out with the coach. They don't want to follow module, one, two, and three, and then maybe module two and three weren't even applicable because they were like, I already got that stuff down. I need to work on other things. So that's the nice thing is courses, programs, and one-to-one coaching can fit, different people. So I'm really glad you brought that up first. The personalized, customized, we're co-creating a wellness plan with somebody. So what else?
Um, Small, so right, we focus on small, sustainable habits. It's not a big, yes, I love hacks, right? But it's not a big diet or a trick. It's we're going to work on small habits that you actually embrace that actually stick. So it's interesting how we go from small habits to talking about identity. You're creating those small habits that eventually form a whole new identity. I have one client and she's like, I'm a person that carries water around now. That's an
I love it.
identity, right? Like
Yeah.
we want water. So
Yeah.
how do we create that small habit to get whatever ounces of water in as a goal every day consistently where it sticks and then you don't even think about it anymore. It just comes really easy. So I think a health coach, a good health coach will focus on small, tiny habits that actually fix some big issues.
Oh, yeah. And that is honestly like, which we will talk about how to choose the right health coach for you in a few minutes, but that goes down to our training really is like, is that person able to help you with like changing what we call behaviors, right? I used to do it this way. Now I want to do it this way. So you're self-selecting what you want, but we're really the coaches to help you get there because of our background and training, being able to do that and using positive psychology and all the things that we've been trained with. So making sure your coach that you're looking at has those tools that their background can help you make those changes because it's one thing to want them, it's another to actually do them. So that's the partnership that you have with your coach. Yeah, small changes lead to lasting changes for life. So
That's your tagline.
yeah, I love that.
Let me give a stat real fast on that.
Yes.
Because let's see, 70% of Americans who attempt to lose weight do not stick to their plan because of barriers.
Mhm.
70%. So that was in the Cleveland Clinic, April 2024 survey. And so we have the best intentions, right, to do these big things, and people go from 0 to 100 in 1 week.
Mhm.
But those are big leaps that don't stick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when you hire a health coach, they help guide, well, let's make small changes. And so
Mhm.
you don't fall out of that, or you don't become a stat, that you're
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah. Yeah.
70% of Americans who start something and then quit.
Yeah. And I always tell clients, this happened with one of my clients early on. It was one of the first sessions that we had. And he was like, I want to start working out 5 days a week, da, 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 And I'm like, okay, great. And we defined what he wanted to do. And I said, now you said 5 days a week. Where are you right now? You know, how many times a week are you doing it now? He said, well, none at all. And I'm like, well, how long has it been? None, right? He's like, well, it's been a long time. It's been over a year. I said, okay, is that realistic to go from none to 5 times? I want to be able to celebrate with you in 2 weeks from now that you did this. So we do want to make it realistic. And he was able to think right then and there and be like, okay, I can appreciate that. And he's like, all right, I think I'm going to choose three. Three is more realistic and I'll really be proud of myself. And I said, great, then we'll build upon that. So it's sometimes we're talking people off the ledge, right? Of just helping them to determine what's actually a realistic goal because we want to set you up for success towards your goal that you told us you wanted to accomplish. So yeah, I think that's a huge, huge benefit. So awesome. What about accountability? So that's another thing that comes up. I think that's a huge benefit. Sometimes people tell me even straight out in the discovery call, I need accountability. I want somebody to be accountable for. So what's your take on that?
Yeah. So, um, yeah, some people get offended by that word, right?
Yeah. Like, I
I've
want to be
learned
accountable. Yeah.
I've learned to watch that word or to be very sensitive when to use that word or not to use that word. But I'm going to pull another stat. So
Yeah.
February 2023, the Cleveland Clinic said that 44% of Americans who attempted to lose weight in the past 5 years gained more than 20 pounds back, which
Mm.
indicates that lack of a sustainable weight loss effort, right? When we talk about accountability, we teach a health coach, a good health coach. I think pulls out that strength of that person. So we reveal how awesome they already are. We're not trying to fix them. And we pull those strengths out and we teach them and guide them each week that we meet with them that you have it within you. So when we're
Mhm.
not meeting in 2 years, 5 years, and I don't want you to gain that 20 pounds back. I'm going to
Mhm.
teach you how to use those strengths. I'm going to hold you accountable every 2 weeks. I would like to meet with you, but but what's really beneficial is that you're going to pull those strengths out where it becomes just second nature. It's already innately in you. How do we pull those strengths out so then you don't fall off the wagon in 2 years when we're not meeting every 2 weeks to hold you accountable?
Yeah.
Um, but along that line is when you mentioned when we meet with a client, a good health coach will make sure those goals that we're co-creating are SMART goals. They're realistic, they're tangible, they're time bound, so they can every 2 weeks meet those goals. And I know there's going to be challenges, and we're going to get over those challenges because life
Yeah.
happens.
Yes.
But that good coach will continue to motivate, hold them accountable, go through the challenges. Well, what stopped you from meeting that goal, but
Mhm.
constantly moving forward for that progression with that support, accountability,
Yeah.
and that strengths. That's
Yeah.
key.
And I think that leads to the next part of it is that feeling of motivation and empowerment. Because if a coach does it correctly with that person of like maintaining positivity around the whole thing and showing them their strengths and that, oh, you can do hard things. You just told me the story. That was hard and you did it, of really lifting them up in that way, that builds the motivation in the long term, and then they feel really empowered. So that's another huge benefit of health coaching is really that you're building empowerment for yourself. And then if all of a sudden life gets lifey and we slide back, you're more apt to just quickly recover, quickly get
Mm.
back on. As at the time of filming this, we just in St. Petersburg, just went through two hurricanes back to back. And I'm so proud of my clients. They're like just getting right back on now. They had to take their time, but now through our sessions, especially this past week, they're like just getting back on because they know they need the self-care, the stress reduction, they want to sleep better, and they're getting back on their nutrition plan and exercise. So it's like, because of the work we did before,
Yeah.
because they did
And
this before. So
you think because
resilient.
they're meeting with a health coach like right after, they're more you're up, right? Their health is up front. It's not like on
Yes.
the back. It's like, no, I'm meeting with Jen and Emily. I'm meeting with my health coach. I want to get back on track. I don't want to report or say that I've fallen off the wagon. We've worked on so many good things.
Yeah.
I'm excited to tell them what I've been working on,
Yeah.
even though it's hard.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to celebrate? Everyone wants to celebrate their successes of like, I did this. I'm so proud of myself because I did what I said I was going to do, or something happened in life and I was able to get back on quickly. That's huge. That feels so good when somebody says that. I know personally, I feel good when that happens. I'm like able to get back on track type of thing. So, but that's a really a very, very important benefit of health coaching. Now, the next one I wanted to bring up was the holistic approach. Um, this is my favorite, honestly. So, because I've been so drawn to holistic medicine and doing things in natural ways for a very long time since I really became an adult. I was brought up in a household of conventional medicine, but things weren't working. I was always sick. So I feel like it was like when I was in college, I was just like, there's got to be a better way. And ever since then, I was just drawn to anything natural and holistic. So for me, it's a huge benefit. And for others, it's new. It's like, God, I never thought about that approach, but sounds neat. I'd love to be able to do things naturally. So that's another benefit. I didn't know if you wanted to add to that, the holistic
Well,
approach as a
I'm
benefit.
I'm curious, what would you, if somebody asked you what holistic means, what would you say? Like, what
Yeah.
are you talking?
Yes, yeah. And I know it's such a word, right? How do you define it? So for me, it is using things naturally around us, not necessarily going quickly to over the counter or prescription medication. Holistically learning about foods, what works for you. So you're eating nutrient dense foods. Self-care. We don't need to go out there and expect someone else to take care of our self-care. A good massage is great, a mani-pedi is great, but how do we actually self-regulate ourselves for self-care? What if we pick up a book and start reading it and it's a great book? That's more holistic approach because you're actively taking care of yourself and regulating your self-care. So that's holistic as well. So I'm curious what you think about that definition. To you.
Yeah, it is it's a definitely everything, right? It's that soil, it's where we plant our roots on our day-to-day basis. It's the stress management, my work-life balance, my the air I breathe, the water I drink, the exercise, my mindfulness, my religion, my
Mhm.
spirituality,
Yes. Yeah.
my positive mindset, how my perception of life affects everything
Yeah. Yeah.
in my health and wellness.
Yeah, and I think God gave us the tools. We just have to reconnect with them sometimes. And those are usually holistic tools, what he put on earth for us to use. But even relationships of like choosing to have a conversation with somebody versus not, how can you holistically have a relationship with somebody and actually being very true to each other and being a good friend, just being a good friend with somebody. So we can go really deep into what holistic means. And often people just think of, I'm either going to take medication or not, and they leave it there of like, no, I want to use food as medicine versus taking medication. But honestly, holistic means so much more than that. It's so much more. And honoring what people choose as well with zero judgment. That's really important. We work with a lot of people who take various medications and they want to bring in holistic methods so they could start supporting themselves and feel empowered about it. So that's wonderful. They just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm able to support myself here. And yes, I do still need to take this high blood pressure medication, but I'm doing all this work over here and I feel so much better. So yes, the two can live side by side. So
We were trained really well about being non-judgmental. I
yeah,
remember that
yes,
it
yeah,
on, like it's a no judgment zone.
yeah,
Everybody is in a different place in their health and wellness journey.
yeah, exactly. And it's really more about our clients, what they want. It's not my agenda, it's not your agenda. It's where do you want to go? Tell me more. Tell me more about where you want to go because let's make a plan together. I'm excited. That's how it is.
Right,
Uh,
because they won't transformation won't happen if it's not what they want in those areas. So it's not the coach's role to tell them what to do. It's
right.
guide them to where they want to go. That's
Yeah.
key.
Yeah. So another benefit I have down is just improved well-being in general. And I love that. It's so celebratory when people really commit to the journey. It's amazing what they tell us, right? They find out like we started over here, maybe on trying to get rid of migraines and looking at better sleep and food for that to support it and good exercise that helps support getting rid of those. And then before you know it, they're like diving into their spirituality and creating great self-care routines. So total well-being ends up happening and they're just always amazed. That's why we get a lot of Google reviews of like, oh, this was so much more than I ever thought. This was so robust. This spread across like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. I love it. You guys are like health coaches and life coaches all in one. So we hear those kind of things because that's a benefit of health coaching. It's just a benefit of like you actually feeling better in totality. When you put the work in, obviously you have to show up for yourself. So
That's hard work.
yeah. The last one I have in this sector before we go to how to find the best health coach for you is the preventative health measures are huge when you do health coaching. So one of the massive benefits is like now you're you're proactively working on your health. So guess what? You're maybe not at the doctor's as often. There's very little acute situations that happen anymore. It's amazing. So people notice, they're like, gosh, I'm barely even using my insurance anymore because I'm well, you know, they're like, gosh, it's just amazing to hear that. I love it. So tell me about anything that you have left that you wanted to share in this category.
It's my last stat. So January of 2019, a survey reported that 87% of Americans don't fully understand that obesity is attached to that cancer and chronic illnesses.
Mm, yeah,
It's powerful. We don't associate what we do on a daily basis to our cancer and chronic illness.
yeah, yeah. And even if people do, they feel disempowered. I think that's huge. It's like I've heard people feel just empty and giving up. They're like, I've tried things and nothing is working for me. And that's when I say, have you worked with a health coach? And they always say no. They're like, no, I tried this, and this. I said, how about a health coach, somebody who's actually going to come alongside you with you and help you accomplish what you want? Versus just like, unfortunately, where I started my story is that nutritionist saying, here you go. Here's this piece of paper. Go ahead. Thanks for coming in. I don't
Good
want to
luck.
do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. It's not fun doing things alone. So
And they're not, we're specialized, right, in this approach to walking alongside that person to prevent those chronic illnesses. I mean, that's what we're really good at, and informing them. It's not just your genes. You're not going to necessarily get breast cancer just because it runs in your family or Alzheimer's. We are empowered, like what you said, we empower them. No, you don't have to get these chronic illnesses just
yeah,
because your genes. We're going to prevent them through epigenetics. We're not going to trigger those genes. And this is what the research, which brings me to the other point. Health coaches were really good at bringing the research articles, the science. If you like that kind of stuff, this is what
good point. Yeah.
it says, right? We're backed by science. This is what you
Mhm.
can do to feel empowered, to not necessarily think you're doomed with your
Yes. Yeah. And that's very common for us because we work within that regularly, but there's still a lot of people that don't know that. So I think it's something that we need to speak more about of like, no, you are not your genes. Yes, you are your genes. You have them, but you can change them. You can change your outcome, by nutrition and healthy lifestyle and keeping a good mindset. What is your beliefs? What is your limiting beliefs? We want to work with all of that. So how to find the best health coach for you? I just want to dip our toes in this just for a few minutes because I think it's important first to ask yourself, like, why are you looking for a health coach? Like, actually think about that for a minute of why would I want a health coach and what would my expectations be before you start talking to people? Because it's good to get your thoughts straight, right? Of like, all right, if I were to hire a health coach, what would I want them to help me with? Knowing that, yes, you might pivot and change along the way. That's normal. Change is not linear. So we're going to evolve and change as we deepen our sessions, right? But having in the beginning, what are you looking for? Because otherwise, you don't know how to match yourself up with the right health coach. So that's important. A couple of questions for you to ask. And then certifications are big. So what certifications do you think are the biggest to look for in a health coach?
National board certified.
Yes, yeah.
Definitely nationally board certified.
Yeah, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. You can actually go on their website and look for coaches who are National Board Certified, and that is really key. And we're smiling big because we are National Board Certified. So
Not
uh,
easy.
yeah, not easy. And then on top of that, if you're looking for somebody more functional medicine related, Emily and I are both certified as functional medicine certified health coaches, and you can go on the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy website and you can look for a coach there as well. So those are a couple just on the web ways to look, but also area of expertise. Like if you're looking after you ask those questions for yourself and you're like, I definitely know or feel like my hormones are out of balance and I just feel like I want to work on that, or adrenal health or energy or my immune system or fill in the blank. There's a lot of reasons you might come up with. So you might want to start looking at their websites and the platforms that they're on to see, is it calling to you before you have a discovery call to find out, is that person seem to have an expertise in the area that I'm looking for. But compatibility comes from the discovery call, right? So how do you tell us, Emily, like tell our audience listening right now, like what would a discovery call look like for the person that is thinking about hiring a health coach?
Well, on the client and their perspective, they would be the ones talking to the coach about what their vision is, what you were saying. What is your goal, right? What is your vision? A health coach really wants to know that. Where do you want to go? Why are you even looking at a health coach? What's your goals, your health and wellness goals? On the coach side, we're there to listen. And if your coach on that discovery call is listening and asking profound questions, it's a good sign. If you feel heard, then you know that they have like the number one foundational skill of listening. And I think that if you get a coach that talks over you or tells you a plan right away or comes up with answers right away, it may or may not, be a turn off for some people, but if you feel heard, if you feel like they're listening and asking really good questions, they're curious about you, I think that is really key. Is how do you know what I need if you don't even know me?
Yeah. How do they make you feel, at the end of all this? And that's something I love. Like when some clients actually say to me during the discovery call at the end, they're like, gosh, I finally feel like I've been heard, you know, finally feel like a healthcare professional was listening to me. Thank you for that. I've had that happen in my discovery calls. And although in a way it saddens me that they haven't experienced that before, I'm glad that finally they feel that way. So it's such a gift, right? To be able to hear that and like be able to give that as a gift of like just listening. So it should be, how does that person make you feel? And interview a few health coaches, making sure that you've got the right one for you to start your health journey. A couple of what makes a good health coach, I just wanted to run through these really quick. It comes from actually the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy site. And I really liked this, is that they show empathy, patience, flexibility, they're supportive, and they're knowledgeable. Obviously, we want to make sure the knowledge base is there. And to the point of, Emily you talked about even having handouts and supportive documents that are evidence-based, not just stuff people are making up. I see a lot of coaches out there just making stuff up and putting it out. And I'm like, that's not okay. It needs to be evidence-based. Don't give somebody something that's not in that field. That's not correct. So, but
Right.
yeah. So anything else you want to add to this area before we kind of close out for our time together?
The popularity of health and wellness coaches is really growing, and as Jen and I said, we're nationally board certified, and it's under the American Medical Association, which is really important. We are cohesive to the medicine, like the traditional medicine, medical doctors, nurse practitioners. We are just another resource for people out there that want to do it a little bit different instead of just going to their doctors once a year. We are that support for self-care instead of just that one doctor visit a year for 15 minutes with your provider. And so we are we are out there and we are available. We're eager to walk alongside clients. And we're also grateful that they're choosing us to be part of their health journey to get them to where they want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, your coach should be enthusiastic, that you can tell we're very passionate about what we do, that you should have that sense that they actually really like what they're doing. I don't know about you, but I've run into people in different industries and stuff, and I'm like, you could tell they hate what they're doing. You know, like, so you want to make sure your health coach enjoys what they're doing because it is your health that you're putting in their hands, right? That you're working side by side with them. So make sure it's somebody that really is bringing their full attention to you because you deserve it. So, well, I hope this helped all of you. I'm just kind of clear up like what are the benefits of health coaching? Why should I consider a health coach? And how do I find the right one for me? If you found this beneficial or even thought of somebody that you're like, I feel like Susie or John or Jim could benefit from this, please pass this episode on to them so that you're gifting them a little bit more knowledge about how to find the right person for them as well. So, but we care so much about you. Just keep working on you and having grace with yourself each day. Enjoy each day, do the best you can, and spread the joy, right? Right now we're in here in Florida, we're in a time just trying to help people have a little bit more joy after coming out of some devastating times. So just relaxing in the moment. But anything
Okay.
else, Emily? Last words?
So, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying till the end, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.